Meow! We got Meow right here. Hello there, I'm Bika. I'm currently on my 3rd year of art school. The course is mainly 3D animation and modeling, but my professor really encourages me to push myself to do what I really like, and that's sculpting and hand-painted textures. Nice. Touching the animation portfolio, let's take a look. Okay. Interesting. I can see what you're going for. Again, it's a little bit too dark in terms of texturing or in terms of colors. I know this is a dark armor, but what I mean is that the presentation, there's no light on this, and if it's all hand painted, you might want to lighten the colors. Like you might want to like push the colors not a little bit. There's a, oh my god, I forgot her name. There's an artist that what's the word? There's an artist that does hand-painted stuff. Anastasia, I think. I don't know. I'll remember the name, but she's got some like very, very nice hand-painted stuff, and the armors never look this dark. Like one of her tips is never go all the way to the darkest colors because you cannot come back from that. Same for this one. Like it's too dark of a render, right? I definitely think, Nameless, that one of the things that you need to work on is working a little bit more on the proportions of your characters. This anatomy looks a little bit better. I'm not sure if you're, kind of looks like you're following the Oni course. I'm not sure if you follow it completely. I see a couple of things here. But if you're following the Oni, like really follow all of the elements from that course. Because I show how to really like polish all of the anatomy stuff and all of the forms. And keep practicing the 3D code stuff. 3D code is very, very fun. I really like using it. But it requires a lot of patience. It really requires a lot of patience, okay? You didn't like the concept? Okay, find a different concept. Like, if you didn't like that particular concept, find a different concept. But try to really follow the things in the course. Because, for instance, I can see that some of like the bands right there are like crossing in a weird way. Some of the anatomy there on the arm is a little bit wrong. The forms on the face, again, like it's fine to modify that course. I completely recommend doing that, by the way. But it's one of those things that you need to really be mindful of how you're doing it to get the best possible success. Sushi Grimouth, if your portfolio, like let's say you're a junior artist, Sushi, but your portfolio is really good, right? Like you have a really good level, like what we're talking about here. Like I believe here our good friend from Singapore, he mentions that he's just starting his journey or he just graduated. Like this is at the level of a senior level character artist, so he can apply. The only thing that could happen is that they do give him a role, but because of like the way politics work inside the studios, they're not going to be able to pay him what they would normally pay a senior artist. But if your skills are up to the level of a senior artist, apply. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They're gonna say no, and that's it. Sometimes in senior positions, you're looking for people who can also take like a lead position that can teach others, that can help others. So that's where it might not be as easy to get through those roles. But yeah, it's perfectly fine to apply to a position, even if you feel like, if you feel your work is up to the level, but you don't feel your experience is up to the level, just apply. Worst thing that can happen is they're gonna say no, get some experience, and that's fine. And also be very mindful of where you can get experience, because there's a lot of things that that can happen there, or that you can use as part of your experience, right? I've seen people who have a lot of years of experience and their 3D might not be as good. And there's also people who have very little time in experience and their 3D is freaking amazing. So it can be a little bit subjective there. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, okay, yeah, we went through Meow. So Meow, focus on polishing forms, focus on polishing proportions, and the thing, it's not that you got wrong, man. Like I think the concept is fine, and you follow a nice. Like I think you managed to capture most of the essence. You're still missing stuff, right? Like the thorn, like thing there on the sword and on her hand. Like it should fall all the way down. And again, I think it's just a little bit too dark. Like in general, the tones that you used are a little bit too dark. But I like how you blended some of the stuff. It looks nice. It just looks a little bit flat in certain areas, okay? The modeling is cool. Yeah. Yeah, maybe just like match a couple of those things in the concept. The hair, you need to simplify it heavily, man. Heavily. Like that's way, way, way too dense.